Good morning. We are live. It has been an insane, technologically challenging morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being patient. Yes, we're running 15 minutes late, but I have to tell you, every single aspect of today's broadcast has not functioned as it normally does. It has been a real challenge to get here. So much so that I'm going to have to go back and we're going to have to. Anyways, we're good now. We're good now. Let's do this. Let's get into it. Well, folks, I do apologize. I'm going to tell you again. Let's see. The For whatever reason, YouTube decided that a file that was under 2 megabytes was not under 2 megabytes and would not upload it. The thumbnail for today's show, it simply would not accept it. So I ended up having to go back, redraft that in my graphics software to make sure that it was incredibly under 2 megabytes. From there, then for whatever reason, I've had an update with my cellular service, which you would think wouldn't affect the show, but it does, because to hear the videos I had to schedule to play, I've got a set of headsets. To hear the music, whatever, I've got a set of, earbuds. For whatever reason, my phone, after the last update, will not let go of my earbuds. Period. So I could not use them on the system I was streaming. Then, for whatever reason, I don't know, my streaming software has decided to change the labels that it uses for both my camera and my audio um, on its own. So I'm in full freak out mode, trying to find my camera, trying to find everything. Why didn't it just all stay the same? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. But we made it. We're here. Everything's okay. Everything's functioning. I hope whoever changed the names of things likes the names they came up with at StreamYard. Congratulations, guys. But yeah, it's been a challenge getting here today, but that's okay. We made it. We're here. We got it going. Life's good. Life is good, except for everybody but Elon Musk. Let's start with Elon. Yeah. New sales figures came out for Elon Musk. Last month, his sales for Teslas in Europe, year over year, month to month, dropped 50%. And I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. I'm sorry. I normally am not the kind of guy that just wishes bad on people, but this guy is disgusting. He is. And God bless the investors over at Tesla, because so far his excuse seems to be that it's just all misinformation and conspiracy, and we didn't see him do that, and we didn't see all the other, not once but twice. He did it twice. We didn't see all of that happen. We didn't hear what he did. We didn't see what he did with Doge. We didn't, it's like It's all fake, man. It's all fake news. I'm not really a Nazi. I'm not. I didn't really, convince the president of the United States that he needed to allow 50 Afrikaners in this country as refugees. Now stick with me here. If there was a white farmer genocide, don't you think it would be more than 50 people that took free, hey, come live here, we'll fly you here, we'll set you up, we'll get you going? It was 50. That was it. In a country the size of South Africa. Anyways, and the hilarious part is they're like security guards. They haven't been able to find a single person among these refugees that they could make the face of this program. They have absolutely tried to sweep this all under. You would have thought that somewhere in this group there would have been one person that they could have half-assed, pulled some PR bullshit together to come up with some sort of narrative. No, they just kind of want to forget they exist, because they are. They're just, I mean, literally, they're blue collar nobodies. They're the exact people that they've been telling us, oh, we can't let these people in our country. We've got to vet them. We've got to come up with we need just the best and the brightest. But when it comes to Afrikaners, apparently not so much. Not so much. But yeah, and not only have people stopped buying Teslas, but he's having a bit of a problem with SpaceX as well. I want you to imagine for a second. Yeah, they lost another rocket. Yesterday was supposed to be the big redemption launch that was going to be successful, and everybody's going to shut everybody up. And they lost communications with their rocket, and boom. I've got to ask you, people talk about privilege and things like that. And, when you talk to somebody that is MAGA, when you talk to somebody that is a right winger, and you say the words white privilege, they immediately erupt into a hurricane of butthurt. My life is hard. My life is hard. You don't know what you're talking about. And they don't understand the privilege that they have. They don't understand their own privilege. Thanks, Randy. I appreciate you being here. They don't understand that a guy like me never worries when he's getting pulled over by the cops. I don't. I'm pissed because I screwed up usually. I've gotten one ticket in my entire lifetime that was legitimately not mine. I got pulled over. A guy blows my doors off, goes flying by me. I see a cop in my rearview mirror with his lights on. I'm like, yeah, get him. And the cop pulled in behind me. I tried to explain to the cop, you radared the wrong guy, because that guy, yeah, that's the guy doing 90. I'm not. Wasn't having it. One ticket my entire lifetime has the man ever got to me. But no, you talk to folks and you mention, hey, you've got white privilege. You can get bank loans. They don't give you a special ugly rate because of the color of your skin. All of the shit that people have to put up with that aren't middle-aged white guys in this country, they don't see it. They don't understand. I know I'm late, Marcia. I'm sorry about that. I do apologize. It was crazy this morning. It was crazy. Yeah, no kidding, right? I wish I could blame the deep state. I really do. But I wish I could. But I just didn't have my shit wired right this morning. ET, reboot the phone, but put phone in airplane mode, and it should release the earbuds. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's, by the way, I didn't throw it in airplane mode, but I did reboot it, and that's what finally got it to let go. Good call, my friend. Good call. Louis Kilgo, Musk wants to use the Tesla name, but he's trying to develop a rocket the way Edison found a good filament for the light bulb. Edison didn't put all his failures on a live stream. Ain't that the truth, man? Ain't that the truth? But no, I want you to think about this. If NASA had blown up 3 rockets in a row, what would the reaction be? Republicans would be screaming about how they're wasting their tax money. Their donors shouldn't have to pay for this. Because they're failures. Private industry should do it. But private industry screws the pooch. Blows up rocket after rocket after rocket. Makes claims it can't deliver on. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, folks, SpaceX's record ain't that great. And it's crickets, man. It's crickets. You have, let me pull it up for you. Let me just do a quick search for you and let you see these headlines. Colleen Sarah, they are kind of learning, still questionable that there are more informed Americans than they thought. The lies aren't cutting it. I know. They're not. They're not. Let me pull this up for you. I'll share the screen with you. And we'll just do a quick Google search for SpaceX loses control of Starship. You got a couple that are okay. Yeah, they lost contact. But you get like here to CNN, the main the articles that are going to get the views, man. SpaceX mega rocket gets farther in test than last 2 flights, but loses control on reentry. SpaceX Starship spins out of control after flying past points of previous failures. Why? I don't understand why. I mean, it's just you can sit there and you can do this yourself. Go to Google and just look at these headlines and ask yourself, why? Why are they so willing to just turn that out? That's too bright. Why are they so willing to just sit there and just pave over? I mean, they're failing. They're failing. They're costing us billions. They're forming their own towns here in Texas. They are screwing with all of our political stability and standards, and they're not even achieving their mission. Yet you have people that are supposed to be the news that just can't bring themselves just to say what it is. They're failing. And I want you to imagine being an investor, because what you're being handed today from Elon Musk, when you talk about like Tesla and the failures with Tesla and the loss of money with Tesla, is it's me. I'm doing it. It's my fault. It's me and people like me and everybody. We're just doing old Elon dirty. That's it. We're just doing Elon dirty. Tom, thanks for supporting the show, man. I'm glad to see you here, man. Yeah, Lena, absolutely. They're still getting their contracts. 100% they are. And they're going to keep getting their contracts and more contracts. Could you imagine if Elon Musk was black? If he was a black South African instead of a white South African? George Allen, thanks for being here, my friend. I mean, I hate to keep beating that horse to death, but I mean, just imagine it for half a second. I'm old enough to remember, the news was never perfect. It was never perfect because it's from humans and humans are imperfect creatures, but it was never like this. Well, I take that back. It was. When you go back to the old days of yellow journalism, and when, the old robber barons opened up their own papers to sell their own, so that's exactly what this is like. And I guess that's what's blowing my mind on this with Elon Musk and the way they're carrying water for this guy is that we do have a history to look at, and we know this serves nobody. The end result is he's not going to get better at what he does. They're going to continue to fail. Elon Musk isn't going to shut up and stop doing the awful shit that he does and has done with like Doge. It's hilarious. If you go to, I'm not on X anymore because I won't make content for that piece of shit to make money off of. So I am not on X. I will not put content on X. But if you go to X, if you are on X, you'll know the right wingers have made up this fake clock. Like we have the debt clock, where they're just making up a number that Doge supposedly saved us that's not based in reality in any way, shape, or form. It's in fact, when they get done at all the services we lose and the things that these government agencies do, Doge is going to end up costing us money in the long run. It's going to be a net negative. Because again, they didn't just invent these agencies because it was Tuesday and they were bored. It took time and understanding and dealing with issues and problems. Those problems didn't stop existing just because Elon Musk decided he didn't want to pay taxes and he believed, some right-wing fantasyland nonsense that it was all fraud and waste. They sent one of their little kiddies from Doge and with his little AI software program over to the Social Security Administration, and they said, "Oh, all that new phone system you set up for the call-in filing to try to," because I don't know about you folks, but if you've ever helped a parent navigate the Social Security system, it was beyond a paperwork nightmare. They streamlined that. They fixed it. So Elon Musk. It must all be fraud. I'm going to get them there, man. I'm going to get them there. And they went and looked at the phone system, the phone filing system, and audited it. And out of hundreds of thousands of applications, how many do you think they found that might be fraudulent? And I say might be because they haven't adjudicated this. I love you people so damn much. God, I love you people. Two. Do you think that even justified the little dirtbag teenager salary that ran this? I'm telling you, folks, government's a good thing. It is. Government that's ran well is a good thing because it's just you. That's all it is. It's you. And I can see why Republicans hate it so much because they're not good people. They're not. They would be suspicious of everything that is them. But thank God for the longest time, it wasn't run by crooks. We used to prosecute crooks. But now, even after we prosecute the crooks, Republicans want to let them go. Colleen Sarah, Trump and Musk, two fragile egos needing adoration to exist. Amen. Amen. They are just pathetic. And it's, this is the thing that the internet age has brought us. The internet is forever. You know that whole nobody will remember this in 6 months thing? You got people like me that can go back and say, "Oh, wait a minute. Let me remind you of this." And when you do things, crooked things that are just sorry, people can find the information and show people what you're doing. ET, my man, thank you for being here all the time. Foundation of the show. I will not believe a thing that they say without any actual numbers that will stand in court. Amen. And if there was fraud, where are the indictments? I know. Exactly. Exactly. But even when there is fraud, even when you get the indictments, even when you prosecute somebody, you'd think that would be the end of it, right? I mean, you'd think when you're supposed to go to jail in a few days, you've been prosecuted. Of course, if you're a white guy, they don't just take you from court, especially if you're a rich white guy. They don't just take you from your sentencing to jail. I mean, they've got to let you go, hang out with your family. They got to let you go, get your affairs in order. I mean, but if you're a poor black kid, you go straight from the court to jail. But Johnny Got Rocks here. No, that's not the case. I mean, this is Paul Walzak. This is Paul Walzak. And he's one of the Republican Florida people from down there in Palm Beach. And Paul Walzak had a medical company. Basically, he specialized in old folks' homes. Colleen, thank you for being here. You then come the pardons. Yep. Amen. You know where we're going with it. You people know. Jeremy Breeden, you might have a good chance of getting a pardon from Don the Con for fraud. Yeah. But this is what old Paul Walzak did. I want you to imagine for a second. I want you to imagine for a second that you're working. You get your paycheck. You don't pay any attention to it. You see your FICA deduction there and don't like it. Nobody likes paying taxes, but you understand that that's what pays for Medicare. That's what pays for Social Security. That's what pays for all of the stuff that government does, and government is good. So even though you don't like it, nobody enjoys paying taxes. Nobody enjoys making a mortgage payment either, but it's kind of nice to have a roof, right? But you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And they're taking FICA out of your taxes. Well, then the IRS contacts you and says, "Hey, buddy, what's up? Remember me? You're supposed to pay me. Remember?" Turns out old Paul Walzak was taking the FICA out of the checks. But he didn't like the way the business environment was going, so he just decided to not pay Uncle Sam. Brian Pisha, having a great day up there in Canada. My king just left. Oh, man, I tell you, rub it in, guys. Rub it in. That's all right. We deserve it. We deserve it. I'm not a big fan of King Charles, but he did do a good job on this trip. He really did. The messaging, everything, he did a good job. He did a good job. You can't let your personal angst about somebody jade your opinions on, if they do good, they do good, But I want you to imagine that for a second. I mean, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And folks, I hate to tell you this, but just because your employer takes a deduction out of your check doesn't mean you don't owe the IRS. You do. Imagine That's stress in your house. This guy collected over $10 million worth of FICA, employment taxes, and didn't pay it. Didn't pay it. But he bought himself a yacht. He did that. $5 million house. Bought himself, went shopping up at Tiffany's, a couple different luxury shops he went shopping in. And the IRS got a hold of him. And thank God, the IRS isn't just a bunch of draconian assholes. The law is the law. But no, they can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. They're not going to go after the employees criminally. They're just not. But they do have to process this as though you didn't pay your taxes. Because that liability has to be proof when they go after your boss. It's like they can't just forget it. Never mind. You got to deal with that stress. And this guy, like so many Johnny Got Rocks privileged, people, just decided, I'll just let the lawyers negotiate it out. I'll get away with it. Why did he think that? Because his mama got away with it. His mama had her own tax problems. Finally, the IRS had enough. They tried to negotiate with this guy, tried to get him to pay his taxes. I mean, privilege. Didn't go straight. I mean, now you don't try that shit. You don't try that shit. If you try that shit with the IRS, you are going to jail. And I mean quickly. Quickly. They're going to show up at your house with moving trucks and there you go. And they're going to sell your shit and whatever. And if you did this, you're going to go to jail. Don't try this shit. But if you're Johnny Got Rocks that's got money and lawyers, negotiation. He said, I ain't going to pay it. I ain't going to pay it. Well, the criminal investigator and the prosecutor said, okay. I don't think so, man. This smells bad. I don't like this. You bought a yacht. You bought high-end jewelry. You bought all kinds of shit like that. And then you're telling me you're broke and can't pay? And they filed charges on him. And when they filed charges on him, he found $8 million in the seat cushions of his couch. He suddenly wasn't broke anymore. But he didn't pay all of it. He paid his portion. I don't know if you know this, but when it comes to FICA taxes, employment taxes, you have a portion and then your employer has a portion. He caught up on his portion. But they prosecuted him anyways because he was such a jackass. And normally the way it works is that privilege kicks in. That privilege kicks in and they'll cut a deal with them for a reduced amount and they'll let them, they'll figure it out. We'll do it this. But this guy went so far as to hide his assets and hide his money. He started a new business in his 20-year-old daughter's name. So yeah, he pissed some people off and he got convicted. But when you're white and rich and a Republican donor, that don't mean much. This is one of the most clear-cut, cut and dried cases of tax fraud there is. It's just not even close. But Trump says, no, not my guy. Because mommy went to $1 million a plate fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago and said, "Won't you please pardon my boy?" And this is mommy. This is Elizabeth Fago. Now, when it comes to Palm Beach Republicans, she's somebody. She's been giving money for a long time. She's real close to the Bushes, and she is somebody. Mama is somebody. She's a 75-year-old somebody, but she's somebody. And she's had her own tax problems and couldn't believe that Sonny Boy was going to jail. And the rules of common decency and the law don't really apply when you've got privilege. I mean, when you have privilege and you're Elizabeth Fago, you can throw you a big old Republican donor party at which you take a stolen diary belonging to the daughter of the President of the United States, and you can pass that diary around at your personal little shindig party for people to read. Yeah, Elizabeth Fago is the person that hosted the party where Ashley Biden's diary was passed around for entertainment. If you don't remember what happened with that, Ashley Biden, just like Hunter Biden, she hasn't done well with a lot. I mean, she has addiction issues. That family has seen more than its fair share of tragedy. It has. And part of her therapy was to journal. It was to write journals. And that's what she did. Well, she was living with a friend down in Florida, and she moved. But she didn't move everything. She kept some of her stuff in storage where she was living at. And that friend let somebody else come stay there for a little bit. A couple called the Harrises. Well, the Harrises thought it was okay while they were staying at that house if they just went through every bit of storage in every box and everything that didn't belong to them. And they found Ashley Biden's journals. And being Trump supporting maggot trash that they are, thought that was great, man. They thought that was great. And they stole them. And they've been convicted of that. They stole them, and they went to the party at Elizabeth Fago's house and passed them around for everybody to read. I want you to imagine that for a second. I want you to imagine that. Your rawest, most personal shit that you write in your journals. Folks, if you don't have any experience with helping somebody through an addiction, whether it be drugs or alcohol or any gambling, anything, there are phases that you go through. They don't all just suddenly start seeing life right. They don't. They go through the blame phase. They go through the, just different phases where you just, and you're not right. You're just not. You're not seeing things right. You're just looking for a reason that things are so screwed up. And you're grasping. Serious addicts go through this, and it's part of the pain that all families go through. And they took this raw these journals, went into someone else's storage, went into someone else's boxes, took out journals, read them that they were never entitled to read. And old Elizabeth Fago's having a Republican. This is the kind of people that make up Palm Beach County, Florida's Republican institution, folks. That's why I keep telling you. These are shit people. And for entertainment, they pass these around. I mean, can you imagine that kind of violation? It was just sick. But because Republicans are who Republicans are, Mommy went to the $1 million a plate fundraiser a couple weeks ago, bought her kid a pardon. And they claim they don't know what privilege is. They claim that their life is hard. If you listen to them talk, no shit, folks. He wasn't a thief. He wasn't a thief. He's had it very hard. He was trying to save his company. That's what he was doing. Trying to save his company for his people. It was the people that he thought about. Shit. Folks, y'all know me. I don't fit into a mold. There's some things I'm very liberal on, some things I'm very conservative on. I break with my party on some things. I do. And I'm pulling hard to get my party to go farther on others. That's just who I am. But folks, when I tell you, when people ask me, Paul, why are you a Democrat? And especially if a Republican asks me, Paul, why are you a Democrat? It's because I know who you fucking are. I know what you are. I've actually told somebody, you can cuss me, you can call me a bastard, you can insult me, you can call me every name in the book, but if you call me a Republican, I'm going to bust you in your fucking mouth. Because they are scum. They all are. And I fought for so long with my own high road party. Paul, you can't say that. That's not fair. That's lumping everybody into a, yeah. You know why I do it? Because I know these motherfuckers. I know who and what they are. I know what their priorities are. I know that they sit there not knowing a single person that is a member of the LGBTQ plus community, yet they attack gay people. And they don't attack gay people as in, oh, I disagree with their lifestyle, this, that, and the other. No, they always act like gay people are doing something to them. Transgender people, they've never met a transgender person, but they're putting it in my face. Really, dude? Going to many gay bars? Are you? Are you going to many drag shows? Because Bubba, I live out here in the sticks with you, and I happen to know that I couldn't hit a transgender person with a rock if I tried. But it's this sickness, this mental illness, this. Well, thank you, Lori. I'm glad you're on our side too. This victimhood, this, just allows them just to make shit up. I saw it an old. Every once in a while, you'll get like a really old TikTok that'll come through. I was flipping through TikToks the other day, and I saw one that reminded me of statistics. It was from before the election when they were talking about they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats and then this, that, and the other. And it was something I can't remember. It's like of 320 plus million, almost 330 million people in this country. it was like 289 Americans were the victim of were murdered by, pardon me, were murdered by immigrants. When 8,850 were murdered by white men. I appreciate you, Oregon Wine Lady. Thanks for always being here. Pam, thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. I really do. I mean, it's not even close. But that victimhood makes them make this shit up. You know, I had somebody thought he was being smart, showed up in one of my posts, and I do troll patrol. I kick them out because I'm not going to have my social media platforms filled with their trash. And he starts telling a story about this transgender athlete, this girl that got invited to the White House because she was a volleyball player, and one of the players on the other team was transgender, and the transgender person spiked the ball, and it hurt her. Well, do you live in their school district, dude? Do you live in that state? Because you're talking about the rarest of freaking unicorns, and you're basing your entire political philosophy and view of government and your vote on an instant, and we'll just accept what you're saying is 100% true, but you're Republican, so I know it's not, but we'll just accept what you're saying. My guy, do you live in that school district? Because you're making that issue your problem, and you don't even live there. So you're going to take a guy that is just openly grifting. The corruption is off the frickin' charts, man. And you're making that guy the leader of our country. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And yes, I know it was. But I'm just saying, that's the point is, they're looking to be victims all the time. I know who these people are. I see these people. I listen to these people. And they're trash. They're just trash. And that's why when this happened, I immediately threw up red flags. I mean, I immediately called people's attention to this. And folks, I've caught hell from both sides when it comes to Gaza. I don't make anybody happy, because all I'm doing is just talking about what's really going on, and I won't go on for anybody's ride and push propaganda bullshit. So when this came up, I'm like, I got to tell the truth about this. This ain't going to work. This is bad. This is bad. And I put a post out saying, look, taking corrupt UN and NGO support in Gaza and replacing it with corrupt Israeli and American private institution run aid isn't going to work. It's not an improvement. And I caught hell, man. Are you calling the UN corrupt? Are you saying the UN is corrupt? I'm saying the system that they set up in Gaza was. I covered it. I talked about it ad nauseum. Yes, there was UN concrete used to make the tunnels that Hamas used to commit terrorism, to terrorize the people of Gaza, to terrorize the people of Israel. I talked about the biases in the NGOs and how, that whole catchphrase that Gaza's an open air prison. These are all UN sacks of concrete in these Hamas tunnels. And I caught a lot of hell for that. I really did. Because if it's a problem, it's a problem. And I can't cheerlead for anybody. But somebody started taking a look at it and they said, you know what? There is bias. And it's like I said, depending on where you fall on the side of the street in this issue, this side over here that's with Netanyahu is just making shit up willy-nilly as it goes. And then over here on the other side, you have these NGOs and these agencies that are 100% making a huge living off of this crisis, and nobody is really working on the crisis. And oh man, I tell you what, I didn't suck ass over here, so I'm a bastard. I didn't suck ass over here, so I'm anti-Semitic and all this other bullshit. Meanwhile, it's just me and the people of frickin' Gaza that are out here saying, hey, you know what? We need to feed these people. We need to feed these people. We have to, this can't happen. This can't happen. And folks, it's getting lost. It's getting lost. Colleen, Sarah, your voice is essential, Texas Paul. To all those who are listening, hit the like button and share your thoughts. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate you. There are 2 million people we're talking about here, folks. And this system that they're trying to set up, it ain't working. It ain't going to work. I took one look at it and I know the scale is wrong. It's a bunch of people. It just looking at it from the outside, it looks like just a bunch of people that are doing the same thing that they always do in these situations. They're going to come in, they're going to try to secure the money for themselves, and then they're going to try to figure out how to do it after the fact. These are not the people that should be doing this. They're not. And the results have been completely predictable. The first aid shipment came in, and they opened fire on the people because the people are starving. This isn't sides, folks. This isn't, I'm not arguing with you how we got here, who's in charge, none of that other shit. This is just people are fucking starving. So when this aid showed up, it was just a mass rush, just a wall of people. And of course, the private security guards opened fire, killed one and wounded 50 others that we know of so far. Folks, they brought 8,000 boxes of food. Okay? 8,000 boxes. They have to feed 2 million people every damn day. And they showed up with 8,000 boxes. That fucking math doesn't math. This isn't okay. I don't care where you fall on the political spectrum. I don't care if you're a Netanyahu suck ass. I don't care if you're, the other side, genocide, Joe fucking Hamas taint licking freak. I don't care where you fall on that spectrum. This is about people are fucking starving right now today. And what happens in those situations is disease and extremism. Because I promise you, if you did this to me and my family, I would fucking kill you. I would become your worst iteration of anything that you've ever read in any book or novel. I would use every bit of knowledge that I have in this skull to inflict the most amount of pain on you I possibly could. I would bring it to your backyard if you did this to me and mine. This incompetence, this pretend problems go away stuff isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. And I've told you before, yes, they're stupid, they're weak, they're incompetent, and they're going to fail. And yes, we are going to have midterm elections. Yes, we are going to take power back. No, this isn't the end. And every time I say that, oh, but they're going to rig the election. They're going to steal it. They're going to, no. Yes, they're going to cheat, but they've always cheated. They've always cheated. Our job isn't to fight IDs. Our job isn't to, to roll over and say, oh, we can't win. Don't vote. We can't win. No, we are going to win. Because of these disasters that keep happening. The internet is forever. This isn't going to go away. This problem only festers and gets worse. This explodes. This is not hard math. When you have 2 million people and you can't meet their basic requirements for food and water, all politics is off the table. At that point, those people revert back to survival mode. And they will do whatever they have to do to not watch their children starve to death. So yeah, sure, we're going to take power back, but we're going to have some problems on our hands. Some real problems that we're going to have to fix that are going to be rough. And you're like, Paul, you can't say all Republicans are bad. The fuck I can't. They're horrible. They are horrible. Because while this is going on, I got some piece of shit just up the road. It's like, woo, Trump's fixing everything. You're shit, buddy. You're shit. You're worse than useless. Benny, Marley from Austin, love your show. Bring sanity to my life. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, Benny. New donor, glad to see you. Getting better at that muting while I'm gulping coffee, aren't I? I tell you, folks, I just don't know. I don't know what else I can do to get people to understand. Those people that I don't do politics. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You do politics. And your way of doing politics is to let politics do you. We have got to get this under control. We have got to get this under control. We do. These people are pathetic. They're horrible human beings. Their priorities are so screwed up, so unreal, so freakishly bad. Speaking of which, you've got this idiot. He's always been one of those anti-vax grifters. And I tell you, I see these things. And I know you've seen them. If you're on social media at all, y'all are well informed, but you've seen these things. Stop coddling stupid says bad peeps do bad stuff. Good peeps will win. Always do. Keep fighting. Hold the damn line. Amen. Amen. Well said, sir. But I know you've seen these things. There's one that I talk about all the time. Went viral, had like 10 million views. It was some woman, and she's like, "Oh, I couldn't believe this. I read about this. I couldn't believe this. So I went to my refrigerator and I got my strawberries, and I put my strawberries underwater, and look what happened." And she holds the strawberries underwater, and it showed little worms crawling out of it. Yeah, go do that because it doesn't happen. It's faked shit. It is. Go do that. Go take your strawberries, hold them underwater. No, worms aren't going to crawl out of it. And it's always happened. Always. These people, and I don't understand it. Somebody, I would really love to do a show with a psychologist sometime that could actually explain these people and what they're getting out of this, why they get off on doing this stuff. You've seen it, and it's not just that. It's like there's another one that just went viral. It's about worms and pork. And they always do that. They always take some little bit of truth, some little kernel. There's a reason we tell you to cook pork. Trichinosis is a horrible disease. It is. Don't eat raw pork. But no, not what this person showed in their viral video actually happened. She takes a pork chop, puts it in a container, and then pours Pepsi on it. And it's an AI bullshit thing that shows worms coming out of it. These big freaking long worms. It's a little pork chop that thick. That freaking thick. She pours Pepsi on it, and 2-inch worms grow out of it. No. But there's this whole group, these people that do that shit, sell that shit. You've seen it, the cups, and I don't understand why Starbucks doesn't find these people and just sue the dog shit out of them. But they'll take, and they love to do it with Starbucks cups for some reason. It's like sometimes whenever you get a company that's known or well known, or Taco Bell or whoever, they come up and they take the Starbucks cups, and they'll take the small cup and they'll pour it into a medium cup, and it'll fill the cup. And then they'll take the medium cup and they'll take it and pour it into a large cup, and it'll fill the cup all the way. So your small was really the same as a large. They're just cheating you and charging you more. No. You took a small cup and poured it into a medium cup that already had liquid in the bottom of it. No. A 16-ounce cup doesn't fill a 20-ounce cup. It doesn't. But they do this shit over and over and over and over again. And you've got these people they want to believe it. They want to believe it, that there's somebody getting over on them. Somewhere, somebody's getting over on them. They're ripping them off at Starbucks. You know, the whole, and this is the one I love. I'm fat. I am fat. I am. You know what didn't make me fat? Starbucks. Or pardon me, McDonald's. McDonald's didn't make me fat. Remember how long everybody blamed McDonald's for everybody's fat? Supersize us. If I eat nothing but McDonald's for a month, I'll gain 30 pounds and have kidney problems. Yeah. Who the fuck eats McDonald's every meal for a month? And if you eat the portions that they sell, yeah. Folks, I'm fat because I eat too much and move too little. That is the recipe for fat. If you go back and you look at pictures and people look at, oh man, It's always soldiers. It's always soldiers. Oh, look at how good a shape Grandma and Grandpa were in. And they show Grandpa, and he's like super thin, this, that, and the other. Just came back from World War I. Yeah, he went through boot camp. But also go back and get Grandma's plates. Find out who inherited Grandma's china and go take a look at it. The cups are this big. They're not this big. The cups are this big. And the plates are this big, not this big. Grandpa used to eat a piece of chicken for dinner. This grandpa eats half a box of chicken for dinner, hence I'm fat. But that's me. Joseph Galati, thanks for being here, man. Thank you for supporting the show. Louis Kilgo, Republicans are a party of special interest pretending to be for the common interest. They attack Democrats as a party of special interest. Whoever appeals to the common interest wins elections. It's all about messaging. It is. It is. But we have to deal with the fact that we have a whole group of people. And where I'm going with this, I'm going to land this plane. I know I've been beating this horse to death. Amy Manuel, thanks for always being here. I understand the stupid's voting Republican. Please explain people like my sister with advanced degrees. Yeah, I know. This flaw exists. I once had a nurse. I was at my doctor's office, and I had our nurse make anti-COVID vaccine comments to me. I was like, you're a fucking nurse. Are you really telling me you don't believe in vaccines? Because if you, and I went and I stopped and I went back and I got the doctor and I told the doctor what she said right in front of her. And the doctor said, I understand, but because of the laws the way they are, I can't do anything about her. If I fire her for that, she'll sue me. That was the conversation we had. And it's insane. Marie Crabtree, super excited. I just obtained San Francisco's Democratic office phone number so I can begin volunteering. Way to go, Marie. Way to go. That's how we do this. But where I'm going with this is this. There's a reason that I went off on this tangent. RFK Jr. drops COVID-19 boosters for kids and pregnant women from CDC list. Folks, the reason they did COVID-19 and not all vaccines is because the right-wingers who went into their whole victimhood, bought into I showed you the Smurf that drank colloidal silver, all of this shit, the same type of stuff that's the lady with the strawberries and the lady with the Pepsi and the pork chop and the people with the cups that are, this same caliber of bullshit just went nuts during COVID. Go take horse paste. Yeah. That horse paste, that ivermectin, that dewormer, that'll work on that virus. Just the craziness. They invented, this blows my freaking mind. They invented a new disease because of this craziness. It's called ivermectin syndrome. Because they take so much ivermectin that they shit the lining out of their esophagus, stomach, and intestines. Yeah, it's a real disease. Google it. This guy, imagine him saying this about the flu vaccine. They won't do that because we all just accept the flu vaccine. There's never been this craziness around the flu vaccine that there was around COVID. And this guy's been just like those grifters that sell shit on the internet, finds those people that want to believe they've got that mental flaw. This is how bigots are made, folks. These people that are like Patriot Front. There's a whole new crop of young white kids walking around. You see them with the gaiters on. won't show their faces, show up in U-Haul trucks wearing their little khaki pants. This is how they get them. This is why it's important. It's selling that bullshit, that notion that there's some magic information that you've got to prove that it's not you, baby. It's not you, little baby. You didn't make the wrong choices and life's not hard. It's them. They're doing it. And those people over there that I want to take their jobs so that I can control everything, they love them, not you. They love them, not you. Because you're white. You're white. That's why. And it really works, man. It really works. And it's the same mental flaw as the people that look at the crazy woman pouring Pepsi on a pork chop and a 2-inch worm grows out of it. They're like, oh, that's real. Oh, let me send that to cousin Chad. Chad, look, Chad, look. And Chad's like, oh my God, we're not eating pork anymore. It's the same shit, man. If you're a MAGA bigot, let me help you with something. There's two groups, rich and poor. And I'm going to give you this caveat. Not all the rich are bad. You know, that whole ACAB thing, all cops are bastards, was stupid. Because no, not all cops are bastards. Not all rich people are bad. But there are enough of them that are fucking horrible. Elon Musk. And they have so damn much money that they can ruin things for everybody. But that's the two groups. It's the rich and the poor. So if you're a bigot MAGA guy and you're looking to blame black people or Hispanic people or you're looking in the wrong fucking place, man. It's not. They didn't steal your cookie. They didn't make life hard for you. And guys like me that are just trying to make life easy for everybody, we're not trying to hold you down. You're part of everybody because you're sure as hell not Johnny Got Rocks. You're sure as hell not the Broligarchs. But they told you your problems weren't your fault. They told you that somebody else was causing your problems. That it was harder for you than it is for everybody else. When really it's not. It's easier. And I know it's hard for you to imagine, but yeah, your life is actually easier. Because a black guy in the exact same circumstances you're in, poor white guy, is dealing with a lot more shit. Because if you're out here in Hillbillyville and you're smoking your meth, there aren't 50 cops between you and town. There are no cops between you and town. So you're not getting pulled over just for being a white guy in your hillbilly pickup truck. But that same black guy that lives in the inner city, when he has to drive out to the suburbs because there's no grocery stores where he lives, there's 50 cops between him and that grocery store. And they do pull him over for driving while black. That's a real thing. So yeah, he might be smoking some grass. Hell, he might even be smoking crack. But it's no different than you smoking meth. The only difference is he's got to run the gauntlet of the 50 freaking cops. So no, Cletus, you're no better. And they're not making your life bad. It's this sensationalized, made up bullshit. And you put people in power that are feeding you this bullshit that are really hurting you. Like Robert Kennedy Jr. just arbitrarily deciding that pregnant mothers and children shouldn't get COVID boosters. When you get flu boosters and every other kind of booster, but not the COVID booster, because that's one that they sold you a bunch of bullshit over, so you're okay with that one. They'll get away with that one. And why is he doing it? Because it's his grift. That's what his grift has been before he took the job. All he's doing is taking the government and putting their aura of what's right behind his grift. The doctors at the CDC didn't approve this. The College of Obstetrics said this is freaking crazy. They said what I'm telling you. Would you say pregnant women shouldn't get the flu shot? And then to make it worse, all he did was prove how little he understood the subject. Would you believe that there is a difference between methyl mercury with an M, methyl mercury, and ethyl mercury? There's a difference between the two. Methyl mercury, that's what poisoned RFK Jr. Don't ask me how that happened. And they won't tell us what was so fucking wrong with him that somebody said, test that guy for mercury poisoning. But methyl mercury is really bad. That is hard to get out of your system, and it does a lot of damage. Ethyl mercury, not so much. You consume ethyl mercury, you'll poop it out. Your body's really good at just cleaning it right out. I mean, right out the back door. This moron sat there as though no doctor was going to read this and said, well, we did tests, and the test didn't show the ethyl mercury went in, but they couldn't find it. It wasn't in the urine. It wasn't in the stool. It wasn't. They couldn't find it in the organs. Where did it go? We don't know. So until we know, well, we can't let these kids have 75 vaccinations. He said that. 75 vaccinations. He told people that he believed, him and his brainworm believed, that your children are getting 75 vaccinations. Different vaccinations. That is insane. Insane. And by the way, they did find the mercury. Methyl mercury, they find in your brain, they find in your organs. It's very bad. Chelation therapy is really rough. It is hard to get methyl mercury out of your system. Ethyl mercury, they found it in the poop. Yeah, they knew exactly where it went. Take it in a shot, does its job, and out it goes. But you got a guy who thinks he's smarter than the doctors, that doesn't understand the science, because Cletus believes all this shit that he was told on the internet. Uncle Fatty, they, them, the others, it matters not who they are, only that they are scared of them. This one is for YouTube taxes, more money than Diaper Don has paid in federal taxes in years. Amen, brother. Amen. William G. Atheist, others are causing your problems, and it's just the uber rich, Koch brothers, Musk, etc. Exactly. Every damn problem we have in this country always falls down to the broligarch. Babylon 01, the more distractions, the more damage Johnny Got Rocks will do. Let's not get distracted. Amen. That's the message. Well done. That is the message. Solara, Texas putting the 10 Commandments in every school, make damn sure they put one in the Oval Office. You know what? I don't even care. I don't even care. Is it stupid? Yeah. Is it forcing people's religion on them? Yeah. But I'll take care of my kids at home. I'll make sure they don't believe your shit. This is just you expressing that you're going to force your religion on everybody else. That's all it is. But as far as fights go, I'm more concerned with keeping the kids alive because these people are putting them in danger. They are putting them in, they're creating terrorists in Gaza. I'm telling you, folks, bigger fish to fry. Andrew Ordona's science isn't a buffet where you can cherry pick the facts that suit your taste. Yeah. Amen, brother. Amen. But yeah, folks, that's how they make the bigots. That's how you end up with people like RFK selling this bullshit. It's always this. And I would love to have somebody, a real psychologist, explain what it is in that personality that gets them drawn to the conspiracy theories. Why one case of one volleyball game in West Virginia somewhere is suddenly the most important thing to some guy in West Texas that doesn't see other people, much less transgender people. It is the most important thing in his life. How does that happen? What is the mental flaw that causes that to happen? Because I know with me, what happens when when I'm clicking through and I see one of these, pour the cups things, this, that, and the other, I swipe. That's stupid. That's bullshit. I identify it right away. But you get people all the time that just, I don't know. I don't understand why they're broken. I don't. But there are important things going on in this world. Folks, we just had an election in Poland for president. Remember last year we celebrated Donald Tusk when the became prime minister. And that was a great thing. Donald Tusk, he's no rabid leftist, but he's not he's a sane guy that is middle of the road. He is a good leader. And he's doing a good job. Well, a lot of folks here in the States won't really understand the difference, how a parliamentary system works, how you can have a president and a prime minister. But in a parliamentary system, the power lies with the prime minister. The prime minister is the one that has most of the power. But the president isn't a powerless figurehead. They aren't. And right now, this is the president of Poland, Andrzej Duda. In Poland, you're limited to 2 5-year terms. And Andrzej Duda he's running out of time. So they just held elections to replace him. So they just held elections to replace him. And these were the results. Rafał Trzaskowski, the mayor of Warsaw, took 31% of the vote, and Karol Nawrocki took 29%. The rest of these jokers over here are eliminated. They're out. We're going to have, because nobody took 50% or better, we've got to have round 2. Here's the problem. You remember how pissed off we got when Russia was interfering with our election? You remember how pissed off that got us? How angry that made us? Well, puppy killer Kristi Noem has come out and endorsed Karol Nawrocki. the right winger in the race. They've come out and endorsed in this race. She told people, go out and vote for Carol Nawrocki. Now, the interesting part about it is, though, she's the one that's saying that, not Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump met with Carol Nawrocki a few weeks ago. But no, Donald Trump's not the one out there putting his name on the line in this election, because they know there's a good shot he's going to lose. They know that there's a good shot that he is going to lose. But Rafal Trzaskowski, the mayor of Warsaw, this isn't a done deal, folks. Yeah, he took 31% of the vote. Yeah, he is a strong candidate. Yeah, he is backed by Donald Tusk. But he is facing a serious uphill fight in this next election on Sunday. See, of all the people that ran, you've got Trzaskowski that took 31%, a little over 31%. You've got Carol Nawrocki that took over 29%. This next guy, Minson, he's a freak. He is a far right-wing freak. And this guy, Gregor Braun, is even worse. I mean, this guy Braun, they're trying to kick him out of government. He is so far right-wing, ultra-nationalist, way the hell out there. You've got to get to Simon Halawanian, to get a middle-of-the-road candidate. And then Adrian Zandberg is the first left-leaning candidate, and all the other candidates. So which way do you think these people are going to vote on Sunday? And this is a problem, because in the Polish government, yeah, the prime minister has most of the power, but the power that the president has actually affects foreign policy considerably. So, yeah, folks, you need to be watching this. If you got family that's Polish, by all means, get on the phone. Make sure that they're showing up. Make sure that they're getting out there and voting. But after a series of left-wing victories, a series of very surprising left-wing wins, let's hope we can pull another one out of the bag. Because the voting just a few days ago, that's a lot of right-wingers showing up at the polls. That is a lot of right-wingers showing up at the polls. So, yeah, I mean, we've got real things going on. We don't have time for stupidity from RFK Jr. playing freaking games with vaccinations and shit like that. We don't have time for this kind of stupidity. We don't have time for Elon Musk to go play his freaking fantasy games in government about, oh, I'm going to find fraud in Social Security. You watch what happens. And then they find nothing. They waste our money on nothing. Attacking a system that's functioning as it is supposed to. We don't have time for this. We don't. These are bad people. These are broken people. These right-wingers are nuts. There's something flawed in the way their mind works that makes them want to believe things like they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. When no, it's just some right-wing nutball that's out there hunting the frickin' geese, the city's geese on the city's pond. But the last thing I want to talk to you about There's a little bit of an update in Ukraine. Putin is in full freakout mode, and the way they've been reacting militarily really reflects that. They have gone nuts on firing missiles and drones into civilian areas. The Ukrainians have been really good about hitting military targets, military depots. They don't rain missiles down in Moscow. They don't do that. Well, there's been an update, folks. There's been a change. Trump has been humiliated. He came out, he ran his mouth. We all knew it was bullshit. I'm going to find peace in a day, this, that, and the other. And then, yeah, that happened. Vladimir, stop. And Vladimir didn't stop, which pissed Trump off. So Trump came out with and I'm not even going to show it because I can't stand to hear the man's voice. Came out with both a Truth Social post and made some comments about how Putin's playing with fire. Putin's playing with fire. He doesn't know what he's doing. I'm getting pissed off. Well, the Russians immediately responded. They told Donald Trump he was a bitch. They literally put a statement out on RT that said, yeah, you're talking crap today, but that'll change tomorrow. They literally told the entire world, you're a bitch, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then they fired a ton, over 200 missiles into civilian areas in Ukraine. So Trump has been humiliated. Trump's been bribed. I told you, this minerals deal, as much as I hated it, as much as it was unsavory, as much as it was plainly a bribe, it was a bribe, and it's working. So now we're looking at what could end up being an escalation in Ukraine on our part. Because very quietly, because it will piss off his base, they have been ordering troop movements. The message that they're putting out from the Pentagon is that we're just fortifying some positions, nothing to see here. But I do not have faith in Donald Trump and being able to handle this situation. He is stupid. He's a child. And the Russians, it seems like, are through playing. They're insulting him openly. And this doesn't end well. This doesn't end well. I'd like to say that, hey, we're going to do the smart thing and we're going to engage in additional support for Ukraine, maybe even move some troops in to help Ukraine be more effective, yada, yada, yada. But I don't know about you, but I don't trust a Pentagon under Pete Hegseth. I don't trust them to be competent. I don't. I don't trust this president to react in any adult manner with any kind of as Hillary Clinton said, you can't trust a man with a nuclear code that you can bait with a tweet. And no, I'm not saying, oh, this is going to end up a nuclear war and yada, yada, yada. No. But I can see us in Ukraine in a fighting war without our allies. I can see that. So yeah, couple things that we need to watch for Sunday. couple of things that we need to keep an eye on the developments, because the corporate media is not talking about it. if I know these troop movements are happening, they know these troop movements are happening, and nobody's talking about it. This is the kind of shit I lose sleep over, because this can spiral out of hand very quickly, very badly. This is not an easy fight for us. The only way that our big, beautiful Navy can get involved is in the Black Sea. Access to the Black Sea is restricted, to say the least. It puts us over a barrel with Turkey. We've got to go through the Bosphorus Straits to get our Navy involved, which means that this is going to be mainly a ground war with Air Force support in water. This isn't a good thing for us, folks. This is not going to be a fun fight if we get drug into this. And I don't trust Donald Trump to not fuck this up. I don't. I wish I could. I'm sitting here stressing, trying to, because I don't like to be a fearmonger. I'm trying to come up with some positive spin on this, some positive idea on this, but I don't know, folks. I don't know. Something that just did happen is the UK announced that there was an agreement. Again, our corporate media, nothing. This came out of the UK media, the Guardian, the BBC, etc. We had been placing limitations on the Ukrainians, distance limitations. Basically, we were protecting Moscow. Look, we'll give you the weapons, but you can't use them in Moscow. You can't. That's over. Keir Starmer's government announced that all of the distance limitations on all of the weaponry provided by us, Europe, us, the UK, Germany, and France, there are no more limitations on how they can be used. And again, nothing. Crickets. You got Jake Tapper trying to sell a book about Joe Biden. This is a big freaking deal, folks. It really is. Things are happening that are making me nervous. They really are making me nervous, because these are morons. They really are. These are morons. I can't imagine going into a conflict with Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. That man is an idiot and a drunk. I can't imagine the decider in a conflict, in a land war in Europe, being Donald fucking Trump. That guy's got pudding for brains. He has pudding for brains. And yeah, somebody just mentioned Rubio. Rubio's nothing. Have you ever seen a Secretary of State that had no ability to engage in foreign policy before? What is the Rubio doctrine? There isn't one. It's whatever Donald Trump decides today. So yeah, our European friends out there in the audience, watch. Keep an eye on what's going on. This could go south very quickly. Anyways, folks, that's what I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you spending time with me. I just wanted to say thank you for all the direct donations. I want to, through PayPal and whatnot. I appreciate that very much. I know those don't show up on the screen, but I just want to take a second to say thank you for that. Mr. Star, I got the coffee. I did. I haven't uh, uh, made a pot with it yet today. As you said, I was fighting technical difficulties, so I didn't get to go to grind some beans and make some coffee this morning. I had to use what I already had ground, and I appreciate all the gifts, all the support. You folks are really generous, and I can't say thank you enough. And I really appreciate you being here. Let's keep doing the work. Let's get through these midterms. Let's take power back so that we've got some measure of decency and control in our government. Limit the damage they're doing. Take the White House back and put the world back on the right axis. Let's do this. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.